Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Nick. Can you make sure you're muted?
Nick's checking in.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. We'd like to call to order the mayor and town council. This is a public hearing and declaration of surplus property and potential sale of the old firehouse on Tuesday, January 13th, 2026 in the Worcester County Government Center boardroom, room 1102. I'd like to go over the agenda very quickly and talk about the order of business this evening. We are going to have first a background report from the town manager, Mr. Pollock. And then we will have a presentation by prospective purchasers of the old firehouse. Then we will have questions from the mayor and town council. Public comment adhering to the 3-minute rule. Closing comments from the realtors. And then we will close the public hearings. So let me go over our order of business. We would like everyone to have a voice this evening, and I want to welcome all of you. I'm so glad to see you all. When you want to speak, if everyone has signed up to speak in the back, please put your name, your address, and that there's a check where you wish to speak. I will receive that paper and I will call everyone in order. And I would like you to come to the podium and give your name and address. And we're going to have a 3-minute rule. There will be no debate, questions and answers until council will be able to have questions at the end. So at this time, everybody clear on that? Anybody have? Okay. All right. We're going to have a background report from town manager Pollock.
Thank you, Mayor. I thought I'd just give you kind of a chronology of how we got started talking about the old firehouse and what organized or what actually instigated the conversation to begin with, and how we got to where we are tonight. It's hard to believe, but some of you may remember about 4 years ago, about this time 4 years ago, the town was approached by Burley Oak Brewery in Berlin, wanting to know if the town would be interested in selling the old firehouse so that they could open a branch satellite facility in Snow Hill with their brewery. There was quite a bit of conversation around town, some pros, some cons, but seemed like an exciting idea at the time, and there was a lot of energy spent in trying to see if Burley Oak would come to Snow Hill and if it would be a good fit. While we went through that process, apparently the economy changed in some regard, and Burley withdrew their interest, saying that they were going to hold for a while. They wanted to deal with the economy and some other priorities they had. And so they sort of went away, promising to come back once they were prepared. In the meantime, the council had authorized 2 appraisals of the property, so we did go through that. And then about a year later, in 2023, the council unanimously adopted ordinance number 2023-03, which declared the firehouse and a number of other town-owned properties in town to be surplus. And specifically, the ordinance adopted said that the properties no longer were needed by the town to suit a public need, and authorize the mayor to execute whatever documents it would take to implement that ordinance, declaring the property as surplus. In February 25, there was an incident of vandalism at the firehouse. It was a private birthday party that apparently got out of hand. There was vandalism, some destruction of the building, which caused us to go back over there and do a comprehensive roof to bottom, a lot of things that we suspected, but really hadn't paid a whole lot of attention to. But the long story short, the building was in pretty rough shape and needed a lot of attention. There were code issues with the electricity, structural issues with some of the framework, the doors, the roof needed repair. There was a mold problem. And once the list was finalized, we had our Quran and our finance team go through estimating costs of what it would take to bring the building back up to code. And it was felt at the time that it was more than our budget could stand. And so with that in mind, and let me say also that as part of that process, the mayor and the council took a guided tour through the firehouse. So they saw everything that we had seen, saw just what kind of shape the firehouse was in. And so last year, the police department, as you know, was relocated to a leased property due to the condition of the building. There were some mold problems in the police office. And so the administration determined that repairs to make the firehouse code compliant were cost prohibitive from a budgetary standpoint. While the town concentrated at the time on serious issues with our wastewater treatment plant. A lot of people who have attended our meetings know that we've had some real challenges at the wastewater plant. We're on the verge of signing a consent order, the Maryland Department of the Environment, that is committing us to quite an expensive and far-reaching upgrade and repairs to our wastewater treatment plant. We've been putting most of our resources into that as a priority in order to stave off any expensive penalties and fines from the Department of the Environment. So our focus has really been on the wastewater treatment plant lately. So during all of this, Mayor Simpson decided that if we offered the property for sale as part of her due diligence, we could explore what options might become available to address the situation. It was hoped that an offer might be received that would continue the basic function of the firehouse as a community resource. It was made clear at the time to the members of the town council and the general public that no decision to sell or accept an offer to purchase could take place without the affirmative vote of a majority of the town council after an advertised public hearing was held. Accordingly, a contract with Keller Williams was executed and has led to the current offer on the table and the subject of this public hearing tonight. As an aside, I'd like to mention that we are aware of other inquiries that have been received, but they do not approach the nature of the proposed use before us today and would be a departure from the community resource we have come to treasure with our old firehouse. And so with that as the chronology, I'd like to introduce Liz Bickford, who has been our principal agent with the parties that market the firehouse. And I'd like to have him just introduce the folks who will come before us and give their presentation, their vision and their offer.
Rick, unfortunately, we weren't given notice ahead of time of the then meeting here, so I don't believe they're with us today. I can present their information, but I didn't know to contact their agent to have them here at this work session. I contacted them and informed them it was being voted on at the meeting, but I was unaware that this was going to be a work session where they presented their case.
Well, that's,
You can go ahead.
if you're capable,
Yeah.
I think what we need to do is know what their offer is and what their vision for the firehouse is.
Okay, gotcha. Wait, shut up.
Mic on, you can use that.
Yeah.
Stand there and
Okay.
use that mic if you would like.
Is it on?
There
Okay, there we go.
it goes.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Clint Baker. I'm a citizen of the town of Snowville. I'm also a real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty. Both Brian Coates and I have an office here in town, and we're given the responsibility of attempting to find an offer for the firehouse, listed as their listing agent for the town. We have shown it over a number of times. We had lots of interest, especially after it was put out in local newspapers, once it was on the news. I'm sure most of you saw it on WBOC, the Fox Network, all those. We had lots of contact with a broad base of people who could see what we had to offer. When we got people back, the majority of everything that we saw were people who wanted it for a private use. Guys who wanted to store their cars in it, guys who wanted to store their boats in it. There was a little bit of interest in other kind of things like, mixed use, trying to create some apartments above it and some retail spaces down below. There was some full light industrial use, people who would have a warehousing where they just loaded trucks, stuff like that. There were not many that engaged public use. And that was one of the edicts that we were kind of given by the town, that the town would love to see someone who would be able to utilize it in a way that still brought in the town and served a function to the downtown area to help promote the businesses that exist on the downtown already. So we couldn't really restrict what people who came to it or anything like that, but we could try to encourage them as to what the town might most like to see. We have only ever received 2 offers. The offer we're discussing here tonight is the first offer that came about. And a second offer has since come in, but as Rick had mentioned, we don't feel it weighs up either in value or in public use in comparison to the offer that was first presented. So the first offer that is presented, at this point, because you don't actually have a signed contract, I'm not exactly sure we can put out the buyer's name, but I can read to you the different information that they provide. Their offer was substantial to the list price, very close to it in offer, and that provided great value because there is a considerable amount of work necessary. We had to show every buyer who showed sincere interest the documents that were provided to us by the town. So that means that they got to see the home, the inspection of the property, they got to see the appraisals on the property, and they got to see the estimates for work that was required according to the town's contractors that they put forward. So that shows the property to be in a kind of marginal condition, meaning it is a large space, it is masonry, it is, has steel and stuff in it. But considering the many factors, electrical, roofing, structural, there were a lot of deficiencies that anyone taking on the property would have to assume right away. The town has been very fortunate to be able to kick the can down the road on these kind of things because they are not there to demand that they fix it for themselves, But once it enters into a private circle, code enforcement will then come into play, use of the property, things like that. So any potential buyer will likely have an investment into the structure to fix it up, to make it both sustainable, that the property can continue and not deteriorate, but also if they want to have any public function and invite the public into it, code enforcement is going to play a big part in saying that the structure is both safe and sustainable for what they're going to do. So this buyer came in, like I said, with a substantial offer, and we did ask them to make a statement. Both, we asked for a proof of the finance of their ability to pay. This is a cash offer. They also they are going to finance, but the offer is not required of the finance. Then we also asked them to put a statement forward about their use of the property, and this is what they had to say. Mayor and Town Council, thank you for your time and consideration regarding this proposal. I have been an event planner for over 30 years and currently own and operate Eastern Shore Fine Events. I see tremendous possibilities for the fire hall. My vision is to preserve the historic charm of the firehouse while thoughtfully revitalizing the space. I plan to use the Green Street Bay for small events and the Commerce Street Bay for storage, all while beginning renovations on other areas of the property. I'm eager to work collaboratively with the town of Snow Hill. This partnership could include renting space back to the town for storage needs and for use during town events. Please feel free to call on me with any questions. Thank you for your time and consideration. They've been to a couple of the planning sessions and had time to talk to the council and to the mayor to say a little bit of what they want to do. This space could be used in this capacity from everything from weddings, receptions, business meetings, things like that. All kinds of things where they will bring people privately into the downtown to serve that function, but then that also brings people to town who may not have had a reason to come here otherwise, and who will be here during and possibly after their event that might, benefit the town and the businesses located on Green Street. We believe, Brian and I have vetted their agent, asked questions of them, and we believe that genuinely they have both the ability to purchase it, the ability to do repairs, and that their use is intended to serve both private and public use, and that they are all open and offering to the town to allow use. Now, obviously, town use would end up having to pay rent for the use of the space, but that does take off the plate of the town, sustaining the building and affording the maintenance and care of the building and utility. Okay. That presentation, you feel comfortable with suggesting?
Yes.
Is there anything
Yes.
else?
Mhm.
Questions you'd like to answer?
Yes, council, are there any additional questions for Mr. Bickford?
None.
No? Any questions at all? Councilperson Fletcher, Councilperson Lane? No.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you very much.
certainly.
Okay, now we can start public comment. We have the timer up here that you can see. So you can tell whether how much more time you have. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, Mandy Gladdy, could you come up forward, please? State your name, address, position.
My name is Mandy Gladden. I'm the Executive Director for the Snowville Area Chamber of Commerce here in Snow Hill. Good enough. Mayor and council members, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. As I said, my name is Mandy Gladden, Executive Director for the Snowville Area Chamber of Commerce, and I'm also speaking on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce. The old fire hall is one of Snow Hill's most recognizable anchor buildings. It sits right in the heart of our historical district, steps from our shops, restaurants, festivals, and community events. And for over a year now, it is sat vacant. While it remains empty, it continues to be a responsibility of the taxpayers. And the chamber and I believe we are of the same goal, is to see that vacant properties are put back into productive use. And now we have someone genuinely interested to purchase this property, and that matters for Snow Hill, and here's why. An occupied fire hall means foot traffic. It means visitors downtown. It means money spent in our local businesses. It means life, energy, and purpose returning to an iconic building that deserves to be part of Snow Hill's future and not just its past. We all know Snow Hill has multiple vacant buildings, and each one represents a challenge, but also an opportunity. When a serious fire steps forward with a vision that aligns with community use, economic activity, and revitalization, that's something worth supporting. The Chamber of Commerce is always in favor of business growth, redevelopment, and investment in the town. We understand there are concerns and with the details that need to be worked through, and that's reasonable. But we also don't want the process to become so complicated that it discourages investment altogether. Let's not make filling a vacant taxpayer-owned property next to impossible. Every month this building sits empty is a missed opportunity for revenue, for community gatherings, for downtown momentum. And this could be the turning point. Snow Hill is open for business, and this could be our chance to show it. I urge you to seriously consider this opportunity and work collaboratively towards a solution that benefits our town, our residents, and our future. Thank you so much for this time and everything that you do for the town of Snow Hill.
Okay, thank you. Diana Nolte.
Diana Nolte, 112 West Green Street, owner and operator of Snow Hill Toys Imagination Village, and down the street from the old firehouse. A vacant building is of no use to the community. It's been vacant for a year. If we don't sell it to someone who has a plan, what's our plan? Are we gonna talk about it while we do the comprehensive plan for another year? Or are we gonna go look for a grant to throw money at it? That's not a plan. A plan is, what are we gonna use it for? What modifications and repairs and renovations need to happen in order to be put to that use? What will they cost? Who will do the work? And more importantly, who's gonna run it? How is it gonna run? How is it gonna be maintained? Or are we gonna be having the same conversation 10 years from now because we didn't maintain it and it needs another new roof? It needs a business plan. And a business plan takes a lot of work. And the community does not have a plan. We have a buyer who looks like they do have a plan. The last time we tried to do something as a community without a plan, we bought a paddle. Let's not do that again. Let's find somebody who cares about this building and is going to do the right.
Dale Hendricks.
Evening, Mayor, Town Council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Dale Hendricks. I serve as president of Downtown Snow Hill, which is a Main Street organization. Our organization is in favor of selling the firehouse to this interested party. You see the benefit of someone coming in, making the investment of making that firehouse usable, sustainable, and getting people in and out downtown. So we are all in favor of that. Please, I urge the council to vote in favor of selling firehouse. Thank you.
Thank you. Ian Coates.
Ann Coast, I live at 103 North Church Street, and I am a business that's just adjacent to the firehouse. And I've lived here all my life, so the firehouse has a real history in my mind, many years of things that have taken place. It was 20 years ago, following a strategic redevelopment program, revitalization plan. The town sought arts and entertainment designation. It is a program that the state of Maryland offers as a certification that you have businesses that fill that definition of arts and entertainment. It is an economic engine for redevelopment. There are incentives that will attract business, and there are incentives that will attract business owners for buildings that they want to rehab. It is a wonderful program. We've had very little use of it in Snow Hill. I can only remember a couple of businesses that used it, but it is a golden opportunity for a building such as this that will have an entertainment function to it. I have no doubt that it will really meet the definition of what an arts and entertainment enterprise would do. So it would be foolish to not have this as a real kicker for this project, and to be able to have the community, again, have something as a public use and a public focus, and does fit the need for arts and entertainment.
Okay, thank you. Randy Coates.
My name is Randy Coates. I'm an attorney in Snow Hill with 103 North Church. For that person. She's been here for 75 years. I've only been here for 50. I did not hear in the presentation by Mr. Pickford as to what the purchase price is to be on the contract.
Yeah, so we're in kind of a gray area of what is public and what is private. So I didn't exactly say the exact sale price, but it is considerable to the sale listed price,
What was the listing price?
225,000.
325.
325, yeah, sorry.
I would ask the council, and particularly Mr. Lee, to think what could be done with that $325,000. there are expenses that the town has that need to be addressed. The failure to relieve the town of the burden of the firehouse and to turn that into money for other projects is rather important. It should not be ignored. If the potential buyers are willing to invest in the firehouse and increase the tax base to the town, that is another benefit for the town. The town should not ignore this offer. The town should look to the long term and see what's best for the town and its people, and that is to sell the building.
Okay, thank you.
Fran Price.
I am Fran Price. I live at 210 North Washington Street. But sometimes it's 204 North Washington Street, depending on the post office. Anyway, I want to talk to you about value. That's why I'm here. The other day, last Thursday actually, the old building that was a parts place down by the canoe company went to settlement. The man that purchased it paid $415,000 for a property that he plans to tear down. Legally, I don't believe, and Randy would know more than I do, but I don't believe that we can say to these people, well, they have to do this. All they have to do is comply with the zoning. We can't say, you can't be a laundry, you have to be a bar, you can't do this, you have to be something else. You have to comply with the zoning. But that has nothing to do with the town saying to these people, well, we want you to make a venue where we can have events, pay you to have these events. And that's not the way it can go, and it may not go that way. Once the property is sold, we have no control over what they do as long as they comply. Thank you.
Thank you. Rob Hall.
Mayor, council, my name is Rob Hall. I live at 110 North Washington Street. I've also been here over the last 70-some years and spent 50 of most of them here, listening to much the same discussion and arguments over and over and over and over and over and continue as long as you like. What I haven't here tonight is a lot of concrete facts. I agree that empty buildings are a problem. I agree that we need to do as much as we can to make use of them. But I would like to know a whole hell of a lot more than what I've heard tonight. And I realize there are things that are contractual and should be kept quiet, and Ms. Whalen may not want her name bandied about, but since you can't name the business, anybody can Google it and find out. But I haven't heard a whole lot of concrete detail. And I would like to know a lot more before we let go of an increasingly valueless resource, but it's increasingly valueless because of the neglect of the town government over the last 40, 50 years. And to my recollection, we actually stopped using this building a year ago at the end of December 2025, when we had used it for everything for Christmas during 2025. So if it miraculously became unusable overnight, that's certainly possible, but seems kind of odd. I agree with all of the comments about growth and viability and things that are important to the town, but I personally think we need to know a whole hell of a lot more than we have. Or as one of the older citizens of Snow Hill has used to say to me, I may not be a farmer and I may not know a lot about organic fertilizer, but I know it when I'm hungry.
Okay, thank you. Brian Harney.
Hi, I'm Diane Hurdy, and I'm here representing the athletic boosters of Snow Hill and possible employment opportunities at the old fire hall. I'm here to voice my strong support for allowing Eastern Shore Fine Events to purchase the historic fire hall and the town of Snow Hill that the town of Snow Hill currently has for sale. As we all know, the town simply cannot afford for the costly upgrades required to bring the fire hall up to code. Leaving it unused or continuing to carry that financial burden does not serve our community well. Eastern Shore Fine Events is exactly that buyer. We need to see somebody purchase it that is responsible and sees value in that building and the potential in our town. This is a financially sound, well-established company that has operated successfully for years in Delaware and now is looking to expand into Maryland and intentionally chose Snow Hill because they believe in this town. They believe in its charm, its history, and its future. They understand that refurbishing the fire hall will be an expensive undertaking, and they have already researched opportunities to help offset those costs. They have not shied away from the challenge that this historic property presents. That speaks volumes. Just as importantly, they have expressed a genuine desire to become part of our community. They plan to join the Snow Hill Area Chamber of Commerce and other civic organizations, just like they did in Delaware. And they plan to be actively involved in our town life. By transforming that fire hall into an event space and marketing it to their clients, Eastern Shore Fine Events will bring new visitors to Snow Hill. And new visitors mean new opportunities for our existing businesses. I can already envision people visiting Elliott's, Oak, and Tides and Vines after their events conclude. Our flower shop becomes the most obvious choice for floral arrangements. The local salons become the most convenient place for hair and makeup to be done. The local bed and breakfasts become the obvious choice for a stay. Morning meetings and business luncheons support our coffee shops, the bakeries, and the luncheonettes. This creates a ripple effect into our local economy. It supports the businesses that are already calling Snow Hill their home, and it adds a brand new energy to our downtown. This sale is not just a win for Eastern Shore Fine Events, it's a win for Snow Hill. It preserves a historic building. It brings responsible private investment into our town. It attracts visitors and supports our local economy, all without requiring the town of Snow Hill to shoulder any of the renovation costs, and we can't simply afford it anyway. For those reasons, I fully support the sale of the old firehouse to the Eastern Shore Fine Events, and I hope that you will too. Thank you.
Mimi Sosebee.
Good evening, Mayor and Town Council. My name is Susan Vick. I live at 401 West Federal Street. I'd like to first of all thank the audience for coming out. I think it shows you that the town does care about the vision and the development of the town. We have a fine offer. Is it the best? That I don't know, but we need to have a vision and a plan to promote the town, to bring businesses and entities here. I'm discouraged when I get emails from people that work in the town or who are elected to a public position that says we have to stop the sale. That was it. Just stop the sale. There was no plan. There was no vision. Nothing said. And we can't have that anymore. We need to grow Snow Hill. We need to come together as a town. We need to be cognizant of the people of the town and what they have, and not for private reasons in making decisions on whether we sell or not. Please sell the firehouse. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Steph Crossland.
Yeah. I'm Steph Crossland. I'm pastor at McHenry Memorial Presbyterian Church.
perhaps one of your newer members to the community, been here only about a year and a half. But other than the search committee, it was the Downtown Snow Hill, a group that, helped me to fall in love with this community and really, confirmed my sense of God's call for me to minister here. And part of that was the visionary work and the level of activity and involvement in the little downtown area with the Main Street, activities and involvement in the higher bodies of Main Street America. I think that's a part of what is creating new life and vitality in the community. And I would encourage the town council to consider the sale of this property, especially with it being a business that doesn't cost the town, and it provides an avenue of connection with the community.
Okay, thank you.
Jane King.
Hi, I'm Jen King. I live at 119 West Martin Street. I won't take up your time in repeating all the wonderful reasons that people give for the sale. I am all for it. And also, I don't see why we have to continue paying taxes on it. Why not sell it and relieve the tax burden for lots? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Carol Jenkins.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Carol Jenkins Tyke, and I'm 207 West Martin Street. I'm here really as a citizen to say that I'd like to have it used. It's a wonderful historic building. I don't know how they'll change the facility, but as a yoga teacher, I have used the upstairs part, which was very cute and historic. I don't know whether they can renovate it somewhat and have two layers, like two downstairs and upstairs. But I would love to see the arts and entertainment be able to use this, and the town come into this private enterprise as well. I don't want it just going out. We've got little parking for a big wedding venue anyway. And the historic inn is also doing weddings. So we've become a wedding capital, or we may be in Snow Hill, but there's going to be a lot of people coming that they will discover our wonderful town. I'm a lover of this town, and I would love to see it sold and used to everyone's advantage. Thank you.
Jane Scott.
Thank you, Chase Phillips, 116 Ironshire Street. I volunteer in Snow Hill in several ways, but tonight I'm just providing comments as a resident. I feel strongly that the firehouse needs to be sold into private ownership, and that we should not let this opportunity pass us by if, in fact, we do have a buyer. This generational inflationary period we are experiencing affects more than households. It also affects governments. The cost of basic town services is up nationwide. And there is no indication that things are going to deflate anytime soon. We are in dire need of revenue to offset these essential services. And the town's retention of a 13,000 square foot commercial space in the middle of downtown is not productive in solving this issue. In fact, we have to rely upon President Biden's infrastructure bill to cover the portions of the Purnell Street project and enhancements to the wastewater treatment facility. I'm Generation Z, a lifelong resident, and often consider leaving my hometown for better employment opportunities. I don't want to leave. I've seen my community grow in so many ways, and I want to contribute to that. However, I will not feel comfortable investing in property in Snow Hill if we do make poor financial decisions. Failing to make every effort to sell this building, in my opinion, would be a historic mistake. Please make every effort to sell the building and do your part in helping working class families catch a break during these challenging times. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilperson Fletcher received an email today.
Dear Miss Fletcher, in response,
Who is it?
of Mr. Ed Phillips from
Okay.
200 West Market Street, Snow Hill, Maryland. Dear Ms. Fudger, in response to our brief conversation yesterday, here are my thoughts regarding the sale of the old firehouse building. One, I respect the town council and know that whatever your ultimate decision is, it will be based on your knowledge as to what is best for the town, and I will support you fully. The town owns multiple properties that appear to be access to the town's needs and thus do not contribute to our tax base. The prudent option is to dispose of those properties that are truly access to the needs of the town. So in the regard, I support the sale of the property that falls into this category. Excuse me, I left my glasses at home. Including the firehouse. I do have some concerns. They are, is the price that we have set a fair and reasonable price? At $24 per square foot for a commercial building in Worcester County, I question that despite the repairs that are required. Has the town considered the efficiency of using the firehouse building as the town hall and instead sell both the bank building and the current town hall building so that all of the town staff can be consolidated in one building, plus provide adequate space for town staff, committee, and other civic related meetings and activities? Berlin and other towns have done this quite successfully. Will the potential new repurposed use of the building be a good fit for the town? Will the ultimate decision support the town's strategic plan? I hope these concerns have already been considered. If so, I support the sale. If not, then perhaps additional time might be necessary before a final decision is made. I thank you for all that you and the town council plus the entire town staff do for our town. Please know that I will continue to respect and support you in whatever ultimate decision is made. My best personal regards, and Phillips.
Okay. Also have email from Chelsea Jimenez, and she is the owner of Tides and Vines. She says, "Good afternoon. I'm sorry I can't be there in person for the town meeting tonight, but I wanted to share my support for the sale of the old firehouse. As a local business owner, I think it's important that we focus on putting empty buildings back into use. Town-owned properties that sit vacant cost money and energy, and they don't help Snow Hill move forward. It's tempting to wait for a perfect buyer or a perfect idea, but in the meantime, these buildings continue to be a drain on limited resources. When a serious buyer with a legitimate plan steps up, that's something we should seriously consider. Snow Hill has several empty properties, and filling them is key to attracting more investment, supporting local businesses, and giving people more reasons to spend time downtown. Selling the firehouse is a practical step in the right direction. Thank you for listening."
Okay, did anybody late come in and sign up all on Zoom? There's a comment up there. Someone said it.
Is it from them?
It's from them.
Okay.
Rock on, right?
Do you want to read that, Kansas? Can you?
Go ahead.
Maybe he can read it. I mean,
Can he do it on himself? Nick, do you want to read your comment?
Yes, I will. Hang on just a second. Let me go in. Okay. I am very sad about the firehouse being building, but hopefully the firehouse will be in good hands as Blues Jam needs to come back. I had wonderful times from 2010 to 2017 and 2023 for Blues Jam, and I stand by and support our venues seem to be in good hands. Thank you, Mayor and Council, and all in town for everything.
Thank you, Nick.
You're welcome.
Yes. I just want to document. All right. Okay, according to our, agenda, I need a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any? Thank you, Nick. Okay, we are adjourned. We have a town meeting at 7. Please come back for the meeting if you can. And we appreciate, again, everyone coming out. Thank you.
See you guys later.
Oh,